Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. So we got the Bolitnikoff winner on campus today for a visit. Jordan Addison, formerly of Pittsburgh, now considering the Texas Longhorns. I'm really excited about it. It's been big talking point. Another portal, mercenary, as I like to call them, these guys that are out here that can really, just help your football team transform a room. We obviously lost on O'Shawn Mathis, but we have another one here in receiver, Jordan Addison, who was the Bolitnikoff winner. So I'm going to be breaking that down. 5 quick reasons. I have more than 5 reasons, but 5 quick reasons why I really, really, really am excited to recruit Jordan Addison. Want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, busr.com/fanatic. And I'm gonna get to the happy birthday Tran here in a sec because we got a little birthday tribute for Tran. But busr.com/fanatic. Hit that promo code sports100FP. There's a 5-time rollover on there, but 100% free play match on all initial deposits. I know a lot of you guys are excited about Mavs and Suns game 5. A lot of people feel like the Mavs have a great shot. A lot of these series ending up 2-2 pivotal game 5s being played out. You can get your bets in at a reliable, sports book, busr.com/fanatic. Tran and I have been hitting them up on player prop bets. I actually won big. Your boy won big this Saturday. I took Bevel to defeat Canelo Alvarez on Cinco de Mayo weekend, which is crazy, but I did it and paid out big. It was plus 410 odds. So really like Bevel at 168 and Canelo coming up, and it was wasn't like it was with Kovalev, right? It was a little different animal with Bevel, who handled himself well and is still undefeated. So took advantage of that. BSR. Also, make sure you hit that subscribe button, show us some love. We're continuing to grow the platform, grow the channel. But the most important thing here, and you saw it on the screen already. Happy birthday, John Tran. One of my best friends on this planet. We got a little throwback pick here from the Boss's Ranch days. And Brother Tran, today is his birthday. So please show some love in the comments. And if you know Brother Tran on social media, you see him around, please wish him a very, very happy birthday. I miss these days when we had our office studio and could record pre-COVID. So, now that I've moved, it echoes so many memories, so many fun times when we were chasing 5K. So, but a lot more fun stuff to come on the channel. We're just getting started. And I also want to share this picture too. Coach Tran, you get BA in there. You get Jason Tran, Tran's older brother that played at Texas. You get all of their wonderful kids. Coach Gabe, who's awesome. BA, like I mentioned, and Tran with his kiddos here. So wanted to show those guys some love as well. I know that's Tran's passion. He's working with these kids almost every night and helping them grow and develop. And, they couldn't learn from a better dad, a better parent, a better man than Coach Tran. So happy and blessed to have him in my life. Happy birthday, John Tran. So let's get into Mr. Addison, because I'm hearing there's a lot of scuttlebutt out there, and this kind of shaped the conversation when he left Pitt, and it was rumored that he had a $3 million deal or a $5 million NIL deal and other things to go to USC right out. And it was like the last day of the portal and all these things. So now, several days have elapsed. Time is, and he still hasn't committed. He's taking a visit at Texas. There's some smoke coming up from Alabama, but USC is, definitely right there with his relationship with Caleb Williams and what Lincoln Riley and those guys have done as well. So why is Texas jump into this? Well, there's several reasons, right? But number one, and I'll get to the Brennan Marion thing. That's extremely important. But in terms of motivation on Texas's part, because I want to kind of break these things down as we go. So number one, Sark has to be in the talent acquisition business right now. Our wide receiver room. So this last portal cycle, Quinn Ewers, Jaleel Billingsley, Isaiah Nayor, Ryan Watts. Forgive me if I'm forgetting anybody, but like we've hit heavy in the portal and really trying to transform our offense. This overall team, because Ryan Watts plays defense, but this overall just upgrading the talent, right? Upgrading, the guys that are going to be NFL, Sunday players. Right now, that's an issue. Clearly, right? We look at the data, we look at the lack of first round picks. That needs to be upgraded. That directly correlates with how well your program's doing, the product that you're putting out on the field. So when you look at players like a Jordan Addison, who were extremely productive, he was class of 2020, so he's only played 2 years of college football. He's going to be draft eligible after the season, just like Bijan Robinson. And what he's already accomplished in an extremely short period of time in a Power 5 conference, they won the conference. His quarterback, Kenny Pickett, ends up getting drafted in the first round of the Pittsburgh Steelers. His position coach, Brennan Marion, ends up getting a raise and getting recognized. He was already one of the most ascending coaches in college football, but now everybody's on the marquee. When he shows up to an interview, what's the first thing he's pointing at? He's pointing at Jordan Addison. So all of these factors here lead somebody like a Steve Sarkisian to say, hey, I've got to be in this business of talent acquisition. And that's what I'm saying in terms of the recruitment. I'm not sitting up here saying we're going to win the rights to Jordan Addison or win the recruitment. I think things like NIL are going to matter. I think, there's a myriad of things that are happening behind the scenes that I may not be aware of. Who knows? But I want to be in the mix. I've gotten mad at my Dallas Cowboys for saying, hey, are we picking up the phone? Are we making calls? Other people are making calls and they're ended up with A.J. Brown. Like, are we trying to get better? So at least I see that from Texas. Whether you're getting the player or not, be in the mix. Pursue him. Maybe you flip a guy. Maybe a guy's a lean somewhere else. I mean, shoot, Nebraska just did it with O'Shawn Mathis. They jumped in there and they won. So if I'm Texas, I want to be in the acquisition business. So I'm also going to address some of the things I've heard in terms of why some people don't want to pursue Addison, or why people have some negative things. But first off, for the folks that say, I want to address this. For the folks that say, well, we already have Worthy, we already have Jordan Whittington, we already have Isaiah Nayor, we got all these people coming in, we're good. I like the room as is. Listen, if we got to go into the season right now with the room currently as is, we're still short depth-wise. For those who aren't aware, Marcus Washington has entered the transfer portal. Kelvonte Dixon entered the transfer portal. He is now committed to SMU. Dejon Harrison entered the transfer portal. So that's 3 people who were essentially year 2s in the spring game. And all 3 of them had their individual struggles in the spring game, which is interesting. They're all gone. So the only person that was really in that second group that's still around is Casey Kane. So let's actually go through the numbers before we even talk about chemistry and impacting touches and all this type of things. Xavier Worthy, Isaiah Nayor, Jordan Whittington, Casey Kane. Who else we got here? That's your 4. And then you have Jaden Alexis, which is 5, and Troy O'Mary, which is 6, scholarship receivers. These 2 people are not even medically cleared to play football yet. And I don't know what their status is going to be in the fall. So if I'm Sark, if I'm Brennan Marion, I can't really bank on them right now. That's a bonus if they're available. And then if they are available, what capacity are they available in? In the case of Troy O'Mary, he's already had 2 significant major knee surgeries. So we have to factor these things in when you're just saying, oh, we have XYZ here ready to go as a scholarship player. So that's 6. 7 would be Brennan Thompson coming in, who's track right now, coming in as a high school, as a college freshman from his high school track season. And he's going to be raw. Very excited about Brennan Thompson, one of the fastest players that's going to be in college football day 1. But he's not an early enrollee or anything like that. And then Savion Red, you might say is the 8th guy, but I don't know if he's actually going to be in the receiver room or not. So you're talking about 7 or 8 guys, 2 of which are not even medically cleared. Your depth is really low. And then Jordan Whittington, who's had injury issues, and we lost him last year to injury. So the whole like chemistry thing, let's address that. Or mouths to feed. I'm going to say this because I'm going to get to this throughout some of these other points. But the first point that I'm going to bring up here is, as a Christian man, my God is a God of abundance. I'd rather have too much talent than not enough talent, because I saw what not enough talent looked like last year. I didn't like that. I saw what not enough talent looked like where people were bracketing my best receiver and we're still having to force 20 plus targets to one person in a football game. I saw what that looked like. That's not the move. I'd rather have the issue of we have so many people I don't know what to do with, and somebody's an odd man out or somebody's frustrated because they're not getting in, but everybody that's getting on the football field is qualified to be there. Everybody that's getting on the football field is an issue for the defense. I'm not in the business of trying to make everybody happy. I'm in the business of trying to win football games. You guys are coming here to compete. So load up the room. Same thing with the running backs. We already have to deal with this with the running backs. And at least with the running backs is even different animal because, now we'll see if they do how much go-go and things like that they do, if it's 21 personnel, whatever they do. But there can only be 1 or 2 of them on the field at the same time. But they're all aware of what that means. It's going to be Bijan Robinson's show, right? At least with the receivers, you got all these guys out here. Steve Sarkisian, if there's anybody that knows how to do it, we saw what he did at Alabama. You look at the model, because if you look at Jordan Addison and what he brings to the table, I think from an NFL standpoint, Jackson Smith-Njigba is the number 1 receiver that's going to come off the board for the 2023 draft. I think after that, though, if you're looking at just college football in general, Jordan Addison is in the top 2, top 3 receivers. You potentially could have an offense, be deploying an offense, quarterback-friendly targets where 2 of your guys are top 5 receivers in the country. Not to mention, I have here, he's one of the best players in college football, period. If you're worried about chemistry, I encourage you, please go watch Jordan Addison play football at Pitt. Because he wasn't a one-trick pony where he's catching all deep balls, all intermediate routes. It's everything. It's screens, it's slants, it's over the top, it's back shoulders, it's flag routes. It's Kenny's trying to make something happen, and we talk about scramble drill type stuff. He's so good at that, all of that. So I'm not saying no to one of the best football players in the country. To me, I'm not saying that right there should be a no-brainer if you're trying to get better and you're trying to go and compete and win this conference. If you're serious about winning this conference, you're not saying no to one of the best players in the country because you don't want to piss off Troy O'Mary or Jaden Alexis or even Jordan Whittington. And it's not disrespect to those guys, but I can't count on their injury history. And even with them being healthy, Jordan Addison, like I just said, is one of the best football players in the country. So I want him on my football team. And he helps fill a position of need. And let's say, because right now I would probably say if you put, I would say USC is probably, the lead or whatever. We'll see how it plays out. But let's say he goes to USC. Texas is still going to go get a receiver from the portal. Steve Sarkisian is already out here saying, we're going to get a receiver. So why not pursue the best one? Makes sense to me. Now, from a Brennan, Marion, and chemistry standpoint, there's no better person than the person that he has a relationship with, which is Brennan Marion and how close these guys are. They've already been at the highest level together in the peak together for what they've accomplished and the development. And so when you're talking about, potentially worried about chemistry, I'm actually excited for how Jordan Addison helps my chemistry. I'm excited for him to be the premier example of what good looks like in that room in front of Coach Marion. He has his prized pupil there. What more can you ask for? I think we're looking at it the other way. Oh, I forgot about Ajayi Hall. I forgot about Ajayi Hall. I apologize. So that would be 8, right? I apologize. I forgot about Ajayi Hall. I don't know why I didn't have him on the list. But even with Hall, right? Factoring in Hall's coming from Alabama, 4 catches, 72 yards, extremely talented. But we have to see how how his whole development plays out. He still has a ways to go and some things that he has to mature on. At least then I'd still have more weapons, qualify people on the field. So Ajayi Hall doesn't deter me from this at all. And Ajayi Hall should be welcoming the competition as well, just like everybody else in that room. So even with the numbers, that's still, let's say Savion Red goes and plays running back. Ajayi Hall, that's still 8 guys, right? So they said they want to be at a room where they're closer to 10 guys. So we have to factor these in. But going back to Brennan Marion, that relationship that he has there, with Jordan Addison and the development over a very short period of time at Pitt, and again how versatile he was, and Marion's moniker of how you love the game and how you love your teammates determines how you play without the football. That goes hand in hand with what we're trying to build as our culture. So I only see how that can help us. I'm not saying he's going to come here and have 100 catches, 1,500 yards, and another 17 touchdowns. That'd be awesome. And you know what? With all these injuries and things I just spoke on, another thing we have to factor in is, Sark and them were there when they had a whole room. They were loaded until they weren't loaded. Jalen Waddle goes down. Now it's the Devontae Smith show. We're still eating. Jaleel Billingsley was there, right? They still had, Mechie there, all the other guys, but it went from, we have all these mouths to feed until Jalen Waddle goes down, and now we really, really got to ramp it up. So anything can happen. The assumption that everybody's just going to waltz through the season and be completely healthy and we're not going to lose anybody, that's not how football works. So, yeah, if something were to happen to Worthy and Air, whoever, God forbid, or Whittington, I still have an Ajayi Hall. I still have a potentially a Jordan Addison. Still have an Isaiah Nayor. And I get somebody that's proven. How does that not help my culture? So those are some things I think, we got to factor in here, right? So moving on to the next point. 2023 is going to be critical for the sake of recruiting in terms of the product on the field. I don't know when Arch and a lot of these guys are going to commit. Some suspect it could be this summer before the season starts. But even whether they commit or not before the season starts, let's also make this clear. The product on the field is going to determine, let's say they commit and they commit to Texas. If the product's good, that enhances your class to maybe swing some other people and really build up something special for a 2023 class. If your product suffers again and you go, you start losing and all these toxic things start happening again, you could lose commitments before December. Or the people that are outstanding don't commit to you at all. So if I'm Steve Sarkisian, I'm hell-bent on showing improvement. I'm hell-bent on showing a great product. And so understanding some of the challenges that are there, that's why some of the Texas fans that are afraid of, we might have too many people again, right? Well, look at Ohio State and look at Alabama. If you want to play at that level, eventually you can't be scared to be great, right? And so they've had people transfer. The transfer portal is going to be an ever-revolving door until something changes, down the road or whatever, if it does, right? But until that happens, load up the rooms and let the numbers play out how they play out. You're always going to be, but if you're always in the talent acquisition business, at least you're showing recruits like Arch Manning, at least you're showing recruits like Jonte Cook. You guys are not scared to to get the best of the best. We're trying to win, and we're trying to put out as great as a product as possible, as well as the NFL draft implications. I think I said before, and we're also doing a Twitter Spaces tonight, by the way. I'll have the link below. Queenie B is hosting again. We'll have Byron Murphy on, who she's interviewing, and we'll be on fielding tonight. And even if you miss it, or if you see this video tomorrow, you can hit that link on Twitter to see the conversation. So I'll have the link below. But one of the things that I know we'll hit on tonight, and just throughout, right now, the only sure thing, in my opinion, that you have for 2023 NFL draft is Bijan. Assuming he leaves early, right? So everybody else, some of the names you're thinking of there, you're like, oh yeah, so-and-so could get drafted. Yes, it could. I'm saying 100% they're going to get picked. 100% they're going to get picked. Right now, because even the people that have the measurables don't necessarily have the tape, right? Or they need another year. So adding guys like this, boosts my credibility, boosts my NFL draft numbers, and we're showing we're developing players, and we're showing that we're productive and all those things. And it doesn't, again, the stats, please understand, if the stats look like they did at Bama or even Ohio State last year, we have 3 people that have somewhere between 900 and 1,100 yards. And yeah, they're dispersing. They weren't in the Blitnikov. Like Jackson Smith-Njigba wasn't in the Blitnikov. Olave wasn't there. Garrett Wilson wasn't there. But they all ate. They were all very productive. The NFL recognized that. And they were one of the funnest teams to watch, especially once C.J. Stroud got going and took advantage of those weapons. On top of Jeremy Rucker, who was a tight end as well, eating in that offense. On top of Travion Henderson, who was eating in that offense. So I'm not scared to add more talent. I want recruits to see that we're a talented bunch and we're going to make a factory over here. Don't talk about it, be about it. Reason number 4, right hand in hand with recruiting and the product on the field, we are going to be heavily reliant on our offense this year. Just is what it is. Now, we're going to have to go through some growing pains, especially if it's Quinn Ewers playing quarterback, but we're excited for his talent, where he's going to take off to, especially being developed under Steve Sarkisian. We're excited to see people like Jatavian Sanders, who are going to, obviously paired up with Jaleel Billingsley, Gunnar Helm, Juan Davis, all those guys, but guys like, that are NFL type guys, like a Jatavian Sanders, their development. We need as many weapons as possible. We're going to have an offensive line that's in transition. I know a lot of people have concerns about the offensive line, but let me ask you this. If you're concerned about numbers in a room, we taking 6 or 7 offensive linemen. Now everybody going to play there. You still took them because you need the numbers. You need the talent. So same philosophy here, right? But when it comes to people like Jatavian Sanders and Jaleel Billingsley's, even some of the running backs like Keelan Robinson, who can be featured in the pass game, I need as much versatility, as many weapons as possible. Some of these guys are going to have to help a lot in some of the quick game stuff as we get more acclimated with our offensive line, trying to open up running lanes for Bijan Robinson so he can be special and dynamic on the ground, getting space for guys like Xavier Worthy. Offense is going to be carrying that bag. Now, defense, we're going to need them to step up for recruiting sake too and show improvement, especially those guys that want to keep their jobs. I think that's critical. But in terms of how we're going to win football games, even guys like, Mr. Hall here too, all these guys, we need all the weapons. I'm serious, because, we saw what the product looked like on defense last year, and I with us not getting Mathis and with the reliance on some of the young guys and people changing positions, I think that's going to be a work in progress. The last point is more of a fun one, just a little, little tease or shot or whatever. But with Xavier Worthy, particular team out there on the West Coast trying to come after our boy and drive the price up, it'd be nice to get one back at them. Now, at this point, do I think Jordan Addison is probably at the time of recording this video? I think so. But I'm happy that we're getting a visit. I'm happy we're recruiting him. I'm happy that Brennan Marion has that credibility with the player to where he can, that's somebody he's going to know for the rest of his life, right? And so wants to play with an Xavier Worthy himself. It'd be nice to take one out of USC's armor. They don't have a pitch over us in terms of proven production either, because they're trying to rebuild. Lincoln Riley's going over there to rebuild just like they are. They were 4-8 last year. So that's something where they don't have a leg up on. Now, if they throw out, hit them with the Godfather will make you an offer you can't refuse, then so be it. But Texas just being around, playing the game, doing what they have to do for a player of this caliber, and that's why I'm spending so much time talking about it, whether we get the player or not, these aspects, these things to think about in terms of going back to point number one of talent acquisition is critical. It's critical. That's why you went and got a Quinn Ewers. That's why you went and got Jaleel Billingsley. That's why you went and got Isaiah Nayor. That's why you went and got Jai Hall. That's why you went and got Ryan Watts, all these guys. So, and that's why they're going to continue to work portal numbers and all those things. They've got to buy themselves time to where they really get on and popping with and marrying that up with, hopefully a very, very successful 2023 class. Hit me in the comments what you think. Don't be scared to add more talent to the room. We got to build our culture around competitiveness, in my opinion, and pursue the best. Pursue the best. That's my energy. Happy birthday, Tran. Love you, brother. Guys, remember to subscribe to the channel and hit that sub up button, even if it's just to show Tran some love. We appreciate the support. Spaces tonight, Queenie B Spaces tonight. I'll have the link below for Twitter as well. I think we're getting started at 7:30. BUSR.com/fanatic. Shout out to the sponsor. All of the, even some of these baseball leads, I want to bet, live bet, that's on there. If somebody wanted to live bet, White Sox and Guardians and that whole meltdown that occurred last night, no better place to take advantage of it than BUSR.com/fanatic. Use that Sports 100 FP promo there as well. I appreciate everybody that tunes in. Horns always up. Appreciate y'all.